Hey guys, well, welcome to our podcast where we talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've been watching these movies as a quarantine project, and we come together on a video chat to discuss it, talk about what we like, what we didn't like, and everything in between. My name is Rob.
Rinaldi.
Elise.
And I'm Fergie.
In this episode, we are going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy.
In Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill is a Ravager. Once an orphan, sad orphan on Earth, he was kidnapped by aliens, specifically Ravagers, and now he flies around the galaxy getting beautiful women to be with him for one night and stealing random items. On his journey, he discovers the orb, and the orb is sought after by an assassin named Gamora, while two bounty hunters named Groot and Rocket also seek Peter Quill for a bounty that was put on him. Not only that, Drax seeks out the person responsible for killing his family and decides to enlist the aid of these three criminals to help him to do it. Turns out the person that killed Drax's family is Ronan, a Kree fanatic hell-bent on destroying the peaceful planet Xandar and seeking the orb in order to do it. So our five weird criminals band together to stop Ronan from destroying Xandar, and in the process, they become the Guardians of the Galaxy. The question is are they strong enough to defeat Ronan and stop his evil plan? We'll find out.
So I found a review on the online article site, The Verge. And this dates back to July 29th, 2014 by a Tim Grierson. I'll just read the first two quick paragraphs here. So it says, like Pixar before it, Marvel Studios has developed a brand that transcends any particular character or franchise. That red rectangle with the white letters has become a stamp of quality, a relative guarantee that the comic book movie you're about to see will be worth your time and money. But also, like Pixar, Marvel has to decide how best to extend and expand that brand, make more sequels to the films we already enjoy, or try to branch out and invest in new stories, which brings fresh risks. Guardians of the Galaxy shows that the studio choosing the latter option, and the film truly manages to find its own rhythm and tone. More emotional than Captain America, more awe inspiring than Thor, more genial than Iron Man, and more playful than the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy has the same downside as a lot of franchise starters in that it mostly sets the table for presumably bigger future installments. But its underdog spirit, visual wonders, and decent comedic hit to miss ratio keeps the movie from being a mere placeholder. Rather than just repeating the Marvel formula, Guardians of the Galaxy feels like a legitimate attempt to add more elements to the mixture.
Wow, that was a solid review. So I found a less exciting review compared to Elise's, but this is from Eric Perry. He says, it was one of the best movies in the MCU. The characters all hate each other, yet come together at the end for a dance battle to save the universe. Plus, it is impossible not to love the 70s soundtrack. That was his review.
That was it, huh?
Straight to the point.
That was it. Straight to the
That was
point.
very straight to the point. We're going to read some more of these later on. Actually, we found some interesting ones. But before we get to all that, we're going to talk a little bit about this movie because there's a lot happening in this movie. It's really cool. It's really different. They tried new things and all that nice stuff. But what did we grade this movie? You can give it a letter grade. Letter grades?
I'll go first. So this movie, it's like peanut butter and jelly. Like it's like when you're in that mood where you just want to relax and you want to chill and you're like, man, I don't want to cook food. I just want to eat something that I know tastes good. And so you make yourself some peanut butter and jelly, and you put the right amount of peanut butter. You like, I like to lather up my bread with peanut butter,
Rinaldi,
and then
what kind of
I make to
peanut
like
butter?
Jif, man, that's the best one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
that
what
Jif,
you
bro.
get. That
Jif.
Is
Jif.
it chunky?
Is it
Is it
chunky or is it
smooth?
No, it's
smooth?
smooth as butter, like that
Yeah,
soundtrack, like that
smooth.
Oh,
70s soundtrack.
yes.
Like my man Peter
Yo,
Quill
what
putting the
flavor
moves
jelly
on
you
the
got, bro?
ladies.
Yeah, you got that Smuckers?
Ah, I got
Like
that.
Smuckers.
No, I got that Welch's, man.
You got that?
Oh yes,
Got that
High
Welch's, man.
class.
Strawberry,
Okay.
strawberry, bro.
You're doing one better than
Strawberry.
me,
I
bro.
do a little.
Okay, I respect that.
Little dollop in the middle, and then I spread it around in a circle.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
That technique.
that's a process. Yeah, so this what this movie is like. It's not complicated. It's peanut butter and jelly, but it's made right.
Mm.
It's entertaining. The characters have great chemistry with
Hmm.
each other.
Yep.
Some of the jokes are kind of like lame, but
Yeah.
this movie keeps moving along until it
Mhm.
gets like good jokes.
Yeah.
So, and that's like what a good comedian does. Like, okay, that joke didn't work. Let me just find another joke.
Mm.
Okay, that joke got people laughing, tears out of their eyes. You know,
Hmm.
so that was cool. The action was solid. The visuals were solid. Loved the colors. Soundtrack was dope. Ronan was decent. He wasn't great, but he's better than some of these other people's that we talked about on this podcast. So he did what he was supposed to do. He was a threat that they had to unite against. So this was good. I don't think this movie did anything great. And kind of like Peanut Butter
Yeah.
and Jelly, Peanut Butter and Jelly is
Yeah.
not great. It's just good. And
Mm.
so I
Okay.
give it a B. Give it a
Hmm.
B.
Mm.
Good,
Okay.
nice little solid B.
Yeah. It's a solid letter grade.
I'm gonna have to agree with Rinaldi. I think everything he said is exactly how I felt. I like didn't take much notes watching this movie. I just kind of enjoyed the ride, and I remember the first time I watched this in theaters, liking it. Now with fresh eyes, it's a little bit different, but it's still good. Just like Rinaldi said, not great, but good. It was enjoyable. You can watch it with the whole family and not feel like weird or like you have to explain anything. Um, so yeah, it's just a solid movie.
Yeah. For me, I'm actually it's about the same, but I'm actually gonna throw a minus on it. I give it a
Mm.
B
Ooh, got that
minus.
minus.
But it's not, but
Mm.
it's a high B minus. It's like a borderline B. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it was for the reasons you guys mentioned. You know, I think for yeah, there's the story is straightforward. It's simple. You don't really feel a big threat from Ronan at all. But
Yeah.
it's still a lot of fun. Regardless, I think the reason why I tacked a minus on there is, and I'm gonna try and find a way to say this nicely, but also have it make sense. The the acting quality is different um, in comparison to the previous Marvel films. It's not to say that this main cast, is not good because you know they do great, but it's like I think in my mind I kind of start comparing a little bit, and I'm like, oh, maybe Chris Pratt is not. Maybe he's like more B list, or you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I start thinking that way and maybe it could be the nature of the script, you know, just the fact that it's comedic, but I see that the acting quality is a little bit different. Um and so yeah, I think that's why I want to throw a minus on it. But again, everybody did well. I
Yeah.
think strangely the people I feel like that did the best acting are the one that are least humanoid. So I think like Rocket's like Bradley Cooper like does the best out of everyone, and he's the raccoon. um,
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
and yeah, so I mean, it was fine though, but it's just it's does that make sense? The acting's
It
just
does.
Yeah.
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 No, that
I
makes
agree with
sense.
you.
I get
yeah.
I get where you're coming from.
So that's really the biggest reason why I threw a minus on there. But it's basically B minus B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Elise, I'm gonna have to give you a virtual high five because I'm also going to give this a B minus. It's a good movie. It's fun. I love Rinaldi's peanut butter and jelly analogy.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect analogy because it's everything you want right then and there. It doesn't take much brain power to make it, and you know what you're gonna get. It's good. It's not a whole meal. It's just a snack. It's not even. It's lunch for kids. But if you were to make one now, there's nothing. Um, I give it a B minus, only because I feel like, this being, it's been a while since I've seen this movie, and trying to watch it with fresh eyes, and going in there trying to, not trying to forget, but I'm watching this movie, and I'm remembering all of the scenes that I'm anticipating. I'm remembering all the jokes that I'm anticipating, and they're not as good as they were before.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
doesn't hold up as it
Yeah.
did when
Yep.
it
Yep.
first
Yep.
came out. When it first came out, it was groundbreaking. It was hilarious. These wacky. What are they going to do? Now it's like we kind of see it coming, and the jokes now they kind of fall flat a little bit.
Mm.
Some of them, some jokes are like genuinely good, but even then, it's like I saw that coming from like before. Like the joke works once, maybe twice, but then after a while, um, it's like that uncle at the barbecue. He
Come
always
on,
has
Uncle.
that. He always has that one story or that one joke he tells everybody, no matter who he talks to, and no matter how many times he's told it to. I think it's the same thing. It may have been funny at one point, which is why this uncle keeps telling the joke. But in this case, I don't think all the jokes landed this time around. Again, this doesn't mean the movie was not funny. I just don't think what the movie was meant to do. Uh, it happened when it first came out, but the longevity kind of subsided. As opposed to a lot of the movies that we have watched, some of them did hold up the test of time. This one kind of did not. And so that's why I would give it a B minus. Still a good, fun movie. Love the characters, love the back and forth, love the story. Um, but I give it a B minus.
Coolies. Good analogy.
Yeah. Well, I blended like two analogies. So
Yeah, that's true.
there's no original thought coming from here. This is not
Uh,
original thought. I'm just like piggybacking. That's why I go last. I'm like, let me just hear what they say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So okay, so we watched this this week. What did we, what are some things that stood out to you? What was yeah, what stood out to you? Was there a character or something that you enjoyed? What's the first thing that like, wow, this is why I like this movie?
for me, I think it was Gamora. I think our biggest criticism thus far has been how a lot of the women are written and their roles in the movie. But I felt like she was a solid. I don't know if you can call her even female, but she was a solid
She's female.
Yeah,
woman.
she's a
Okay,
woman.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
she's a
all right,
different. She's just not human,
yeah.
but she's a
She's just a
female.
different race.
different race.
Yeah, different species.
But yeah, she was a solid character. She was smart. She was funny. She was, I think, everything that we're looking for in a lead. And so I think I really enjoyed her and just her presence in the movie.
Yeah, I feel like I liked her this time around too. I liked her even more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think she was funny from a natural place.
yeah,
If that does that make sense?
yeah,
Yeah, it came from a kind of like when Thor would kind of like fish out of water. I mean, Peter's the fish out of water person, but we connect with Peter because he's the only human on the team. So those moments where Peter's kind of reacting to her, it reminded me of like Thor 1. So like it landed way better than other female characters in this universe. And I think she fights very well too.
Yeah, I liked Gamora too. For the same reason that Fergie mentioned. She's not like too whatever, and she fights too. I mean, like it's just good. And her and Peter, like, it's you can sense there's something there, but it's not like immediate. So I appreciate that it wasn't, oh, we're just trying to quickly put some romance between them. Like, it's kind of building. So I appreciate them kind of slowing down on that. For me, yeah, I think again, like Bradley Cooper really does his thing with Rocket. Like I love
Yeah,
Rocket, and it's pretty interesting even with Groot. He doesn't say too much, but I like was very emotionally attached to him, and so that
yeah,
whole it gets me every time. The "We Are Groot" gets me every time. And I'm just
We
like, I
are
don't know.
Groot.
Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
he always, yeah. It's kind of interesting how he doesn't say too much, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the innocence of Groot. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
even when
Mhm.
he's saying "I am Groot" and like Rocket's translating is just like, yeah, I know they're like the only friends we had. I'm like, oh wow, like he's like saying something like very like
Mm-hmm.
heartfelt. So he
Right.
just has that like childlike innocence. So it's just like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
they're like two sides of like the same coin. Like, Rocket kind of tries to mask and be like hardline, like while Groot's like very like open, like, yeah, I consider you guys friends, but Rocket's kind of like, yo, don't tell them that, like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
That's
I
so
like their
funny.
dynamic a lot. They were really
Do you
funny.
remember that scene where they're talking about Peter Quill's plan and Rocket goes, "Hey, like, do you have a plan?" He goes, "Yeah, I have a plan." Okay, well, what's your plan? I have a plan. I have 12% of a plan. And it was like 12%. That's not even a plan. And then Groot says, "I am Groot," but what he really said was, "It's better than 11%." And it's like
Right.
that optimism is like like what?
Yeah,
Dang,
like
who's
the
more
Even
optimistic?
Rocket was like,
Who's more
what do you mean it's
optimistic,
all
Groot, Coulson, or Falcon?
Groot, hands down, because Groot's innocent. He just has this
Yeah.
innocence.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters in this movie when I was watching it, from when I saw it in theaters and even now, was Drax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I still remember when we first meet this guy and he grabs Gamora by the throat and he has a knife and all that stuff, and then Peter Quill's trying to talk him down, and Peter Quill motions with the finger across his neck. He goes,
Yeah.
"What? Why would I drag my finger across my neck?" And he goes, "No, that means that you're gonna slice it.
Slices
I'm not
throat.
gonna I'm not gonna slice it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
cut it clean off. That's what it means." And like
It's a
the other, what's
metaphor.
the other scene? Yeah, it's a metaphor. The other scene when when they're trying to get out of prison, and Rocket goes like, "Hey, you can't give him metaphors. His race, his species is way too literal. It'll go whatever you say will go right over his head." He goes, "Nothing goes over my head. I'm too fast. I'll catch it." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But I was dying when I
Yeah,
first
that's
heard
funny.
that. Like
Yeah.
that kind of joke is like so original, and like that. I think that kind of humor is what stood out in this movie and made it different, among many other things. But man, I love Drax in this movie.
I think this movie also just has great characters too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like everyone has such a different personality and they bring so many different things, but like it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
Yondu.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
oh,
him
oh,
so
you,
much.
oh, you mean Blue Merle?
Blue Merle.
Blue
They
Merle,
said
Blue Merle,
Merle. It's like, you know what? You know what I think
Blue
happened?
Merle.
Merle in The Walking Dead took some crystal meth, and he saw Yondu, decided to
I'm
imitate him.
dead.
He decided to imitate Yondu's the original. Merle's just copying him.
No, he literally plays the same character. He's just blue this
That's
time.
true. That's
Literally,
true.
Like,
That's his whole
literally.
And a
career,
little bit
though. That's
different.
entire career. Michael Rooker's career is
oh
Yondu.
man.
It led up to it was all his other roles were just different versions of Yondu.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love the arrow and the whistle thing. Like
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah,
it's a
I
fin.
that's cool.
there was a part. Maybe I hope I'm not jumping ahead when I say this, but there was a part in this movie where towards the end he whistles and we see the arrow like fly through all these like henchmen, these bad guys, and it was like epic. And like it came to mind. I'm like, how would that work against Thanos? Because that thing
Hmm.
just seems like really, really threatening.
But
Yeah.
it's still technology. Thanos might be able to hack it, or one of his henchmen
Uh,
could.
Oh, oh.
But
No,
he
that's just a
might.
true.
thought that I had.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin
I mean, who knows? They
a
could have done
dream.
A
something.
good idea. No, it's not a joke. It's just like he has this weapon, and it seems like this thing can cut through anything.
I think. Well, there is a chance. Well, I think Thanos, if he didn't have his henchmen, if it was just one on one, mano a mano, he would need the gauntlet. I don't think
Yeah.
he
Plus,
could
I don't
win.
think Thanos really. It doesn't seem like, especially since we see him in this movie, it doesn't seem like he relies on technology or hacking or anything like that. Like, he seems brute force, if anything.
Yeah, he would need the gauntlet though if he was gonna try to attack him. Brute
I
force
mean, yeah,
with
no,
that arrow.
I feel like he will not get off that chair without his gauntlet.
He's like,
There's nothing.
I don't have the gauntlet, so therefore I will sit
That's
here.
why he's still sitting in his chair. You saw him fold both his hands, no glove.
Yeah, that was a poor decision. I feel like this was a really bad attempt at an Easter egg. I feel like this movie is like it's like good Iron Man. This is what Iron Man 2 should have been. Because this feels like a setup for future movies, but it still focuses on the Guardians, which I like. Whereas Iron Man 2 focused way too much on setup, and I didn't get enough of Iron Man. Like this movie, you get the Guardians, you get their story, them coming together as a family. But you do get Thanos, you do get, okay, this is an Infinity Stone. Like you get all that setup stuff. And it doesn't overwhelm you.
I guess it does set up a lot. It's just how
The
do you
Thanos in the chair
do
thing was
this?
bad.
But it's also the
Thanos
first
in the
movie,
chair was
though.
bad though. Was it?
So I was gonna say no. It's not. I don't think that Thanos in the chair was bad. I thought that
For me it was. I
thought
think like he should have did more.
I kind of agree with you, Ronaldo.
really
Not in that scene. In that scene with Ronan, he should have. Not necessarily in the movie because that would have ruined the movie if he was
I see. But in the
But
scene,
he like the dude killed one of his top people, and he just sat in the chair and said, "What?"
he just talked about like bathing the stars.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if you kill one of my top dudes, I'm gonna like hit you or come up with an alternate plan. You know, maybe I get one of Ronan's people. Yo, betray Ronan. He stepped over like something, just a little something.
Yeah, I wonder like how like that guy who Ronan killed, like I'm positive he wasn't that disposable. He seemed important. He was in Avengers.
Well, he was the one that like ran the Chitauri and like brought them to Thanos. So which I mean Thanos for his plan. I mean obviously if his plan is to get to a bunch of planets, right? Like he in this movie he went to Gamora's planet, killed her people, kidnapped her. So his plan involves moving around to different planets. He needs like an army to do that efficiently. Because if it's just him by himself, it would take way too long for him to conquer a planet by himself. Like he's powerful enough to kill a bunch of people, but it would probably take weeks, months. If you have an army, you could do it in a day. That's what happened in Avengers. He wanted to conquer Earth, and he used Loki to do it, and the other dude. And he could have, if the Avengers were there, he would have been able to accomplish it in one day because he had that army. So I feel like it was important that henchman was important. You need a secretary.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because you don't want to. I don't know. I feel like they could have done something more with him in that scene. But
he should have went up to the black dude, the one that was working for Ronan, and be like, "Yo, when Ronan has his back turned, kill him," and then sit back down in the chair, and that would have been cool. Just something that simple would have sufficed, because it shows that he doesn't take no mess, and two, he's smart.
Yeah. Oh, it's tricky.
I guess that guy wasn't that important to him then. I don't know. He had a backup plan or something. Or,
I mean, yeah, he has other
he wanted
henchmen.
to try and kill him because of Avengers. How that whole plan.
He failed.
He was behind it.
Yeah, he failed.
And he's like, hey, he's dead now. I guess he had it coming. He failed in the plan for Avengers.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
It's not good when he didn't apologize in that end credit scene of Avengers. Yo, man, I messed up. I should have not underestimated these humans. I'm sorry. He was just like, looks like these humans are serious. He like, what? If my supervisor caught me messing up, I'm apologizing. Like, like a dude trying to get his woman back in those romantic movies. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Sound like Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Or yeah.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I think maybe that guy wasn't as important, and he was probably just waiting to see if Ronan was gonna get buck with him. Like I think if he actually tried
Yeah.
to do something, he'd be like, "All right, now it's time for me to like really sit you down real quick." Give you a little quick, quick one too. So
Yeah.
I think he's just one of those people. It's just like, all right, well, do something. What are you really about? You're not gonna touch me though.
Yeah, Ronan was kind of being a cornball. He's like, he killed the henchman and then ran away, basically. And Thanos just
Basically,
called him a boy. He's like, you're
he
just
just
a
called him a boy.
immature child that just is impatient to wait for what he wants. Too impatient to wait for what he
I
wants.
laughed under my breath when Ronan. We're fast forwarding a little bit, but when Ronan gets the Infinity Stone and puts it in his hammer, his whatever that is,
Yeah.
and then he screams at Thanos. He goes, "You call me boy?" And I'm like, "Wait, that's your problem with Thanos?" Like he
That's
calls you
true.
boy. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
that was
get
weird.
it. There's disrespect and all that, and babying him. But like, that's your real problem with that? I don't know. I laughed under my breath when he said that. I just could
Yeah.
not take Ronan seriously after that.
Yeah, no. Maybe that's probably the cherry on top. There was other issues, but that one was
Well,
the freshest.
Yeah.
Ronan had a big army though. I mean, the Peter was nervous. He was like, "Yeah, I only got 12% of the plan because it's just the five of us." They needed the. I feel like if the Ravagers didn't show up, they would have died. I'm not saying Ronan's a great villain, but he did his job. He pushed the Peter asked Yondu for help. So
Well, he didn't succeed in his plan. Maybe he should go back to what he's actually good at. Because like his name is Ronan the Accuser. Maybe he just go back to accusing
yeah,
people. I always
yeah,
just thought that was a
Mm.
weird name,
yeah. He
Ronan
was.
the Accuser.
I'd give him a C minus. Yeah, it's weird because in the comics it makes more sense, but in this movie he's more generic bad guy, so the name doesn't
Yeah.
fit.
What were you gonna say, Fergie?
Yeah, I was gonna say I do like the way Ronan looked. Kind of switching topics a little bit. I thought he looked menacing, but not like overdone or crazy or anything. We could see him. um, and I like that kind of introduction that we get of him. Like I don't know what he's doing if he's waking up or kind of like that Darth Vader moment where he's being like created. I thought that was cool.
I think that was some kind of ceremony.
That was a ceremony.
Like
Some sort of rep.
he's like an old school Kree. Like it's probably he follows all the traditional like ceremony
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's what
because
it looked like to
they
me.
were putting things on him.
Yeah, they like showered him and then put dirt back on him. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay,
like,
that's
oh, okay.
cool.
You
Yeah.
just it's like you
They
clean them
put
and then you
had to
dirty them.
Right.
I
put the seasonings and spices on
Well,
him.
was he too clean? Yeah, you see
it's
that.
kind of like Native Americans, right? Certain Native American nations and tribes do like throw dirt and dust and
throwing
they put
chemo.
robes on and yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, whatever spa treatment he got going, that's cool. I you know I have an avocado mask every once in a while, so
That's it.
Avocado
It's like
mask.
avocado mask every once in a while.
That's how he keeps his skin so blue.
yeah, well, I don't know.
You ladies get the Ronin treatment in your life ever?
Yo, you step into a spot, yo, I want the Ronan the Accuser treatment.
That Ronin treatment.
The black stuff probably looks like a good like a dark mud mask or something. I got
Yeah.
something in my bathroom like that.
I'll
No,
get the Ronan treatment. Hold
works
the
better.
accusation.
Hold the accusation.
Hold the accusation.
Yeah, give him a C minus. He was C minus villain or C villain.
Yeah,
I'll give him a C.
he
Give him a
wasn't
C.
horrible. I just there are things about him that don't happen with the other villains. I'll talk about it later, but
Yeah.
yeah. I think though, like, you know what would have been cool? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save that for later
Yeah, save that
because
for later,
we're gonna
man.
have I'm gonna save that for later.
All
Yeah,
right.
I gotta write this down now because this is a good idea.
What did you guys think of the Collector in this movie as opposed to an end credit scene in Thor, the pitch black I can't see world movie?
It was a cool scene, I thought. Thought he was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if we were supposed to feel like drawn to him or anything.
yeah.
Yeah. To me, he looked cool and he gave important information. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still like I think we didn't explore the full importance of the collector. Like I think we know, okay, this is the place where he's housing, these really powerful items and stuff like that. But I guess you kind of slowly know a little bit about him through his servant, Karina, I think it was.
yeah, Karina.
Like, so you can tell that, like, I guess the people that work with him or for him aren't treated very well if she put her hands on the stone and was like, I'm
Hmm.
not doing this
Hmm.
no more, and just blew up the shop and killed herself. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, so I guess it gives you a little bit of insight to, like, okay, this guy may not really be that good of a person, but I still like am
Hmm.
Yeah.
left wanting to know more about him too.
Yeah.
My man Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro.
My man eyeliner.
My man,
He rocks the
eccentric
eyeliner.
character, because he plays a lot of eccentric characters. Anyway,
He does.
Mhm.
And even off screen he wears eyeliner, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
It's a look though.
It's a look.
Yeah,
You
that
know, it's a
Johnny
look.
Depp, that
Not
Johnny
everybody
Depp
can pull it
after
off.
that girl look.
Yeah. Not everybody can pull it off.
Mm.
In the scene where they do the exposition of the Power Stone. And well, actually, before they do the exposition, he opens up the orb to reveal the stone, and he does this weird thing, like he's just like ecstatic about it. I'm like, what's happening inside you? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? That weird, like that thing he does with his fists or whatever. And then Rocket copied him, like right after that. Or am I just
I
making
guess.
this up? Am I the
Oh
only
no,
one that
no,
remembers this?
no. I don't remember it, but I'm not. But I believe it happened. I just can't recall
Okay,
it
I don't think I saw
okay,
because
Rocket
he is a
because
do
weird
it.
Rocket
I
definitely
think
character.
I
remembers that
wasn't paying
happening.
close enough
He's a weird
attention.
character.
He's
Yeah.
definitely weird.
He probably was excited because he's got two now. Because Thor, the
Yep.
pitch black world, we can't even see. He got one, and then now he's got the other one.
Yeah.
And he was asking about the Tesseract in the Thor scene. He was like, "Yo, where the Tesseract at?" And Sif was like,
Hmm.
"Nah, take this or leave it."
Homeboy was trying to rule the universe. He's
Sif was
trying.
He's
like,
just
"Nah."
trying to collect. He's not trying to do anything with them. He's just like, I just want to display this.
No, but you know what? But he could, like, say if somebody just like pissed him off one day and people really kept saying, "Hey, collector, here's this one and here's that one," he'd be like, you know what? I'm snapping y'all. That's it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
he can just
He
get
has to
mad.
put in a containment, some kind of containment thing.
Hmm.
Because if he
Hmm.
doesn't do that, he'll kill himself and everyone
That's
else.
true. This is true. You're right.
What did y'all think of Nebula and her role in this movie?
Um, she's just kind of there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she had a big impact. I think, yeah, she's just kind of there, I think, in setup of future movies and stuff, but she really didn't have anything big. I couldn't feel the complete connection between her and Gamora like that. Like
Yeah.
okay, they're sisters, but like didn't really seem that this movie doesn't really display if there's any sort of bond or whatever. It was just kind of like, okay, yeah, sisters. But yeah, it doesn't really display any sort of bond. It kind of seems like they're just co-workers, and then now that Gamora is not on the same side, it's just like, I guess we're enemies now. Like, so it's just, I don't know, wasn't too much with it.
I feel like her character in the movie just left me with a lot more questions because I've seen the other movies. But like she was kind of just there, like a placeholder. And so I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we don't really get much of a backstory. We just get that they're sisters and that there's maybe some tension or animosity, but um yeah, she was just okay. She was there.
So more like a setup character, not necessarily like a character.
Yeah.
Like there to
Mm.
set up a sequel, where
I kind of
yeah.
found her just a little annoying,
Hmm.
and I don't know why.
Hmm. Yeah.
That sounds weird. It's just she's just annoying. You know, um, yeah, I can't really put my finger on it. It's just I don't know. She's just she's a little annoying. I know that she's there for a reason, and okay, sister build up for later movies, all that. But I don't know. I think in this movie, I just found her a slight bit annoying, and you know what? It's probably because one, she obviously has this like just like outright rage against her sister,
Yeah.
and she's only being used for Thanos throughout the whole movie. She doesn't have an opinion for herself.
The cool thing I think with her is towards the end of the movie she decides to just ditch Thanos and go with Ronan, and it was like it felt like that was the first time she made a decision for herself, and
That's
so
true.
it
That's
was like a
true.
little
That's true.
victory for her, and I kind of connected with her just in that scene of like, wow, this must be like the first time you did something for yourself,
Hmm.
and you can kind of see the actress like kind of relishing that, and it kind
Mhm.
of reminded me of the girl that killed herself that was a slave to the collector. It felt like the same kind of thing.
Mm.
But that was just one scene. Outside of that, it's kind of like, okay, she's just kind of here to set up a plot for Gamora in a future story. But I like that scene though, where she left with Ronan.
Yeah, I got a question. What would you guys what's your favorite joke of this movie?
Hmm.
I don't know my favorite one.
I feel like I have nothing to say about this movie. Like I just watched it and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah,
this
I
movie.
laughed. I laughed in the moment at certain parts, but
Yeah.
I can't. There's not. The jokes were funny. They were funny in the moment, but it didn't. Nothing stuck with me. And maybe I'm sorry to any Guardians fans listening to this. I'm not trying to hate on this movie. I like this movie, but it just my brain couldn't snatch a joke.
Yeah, I think mine, if I could call it a favorite, probably is like Drax and the whole slicing his throat thing. And then I think around the end when they're about to like go together on the new ship and they're talking to that guy
hmm
from Xandar and they're like I think he says like, "Oh, Drax says, "Oh, what if I think he said, what if he gets mad and wants to rip out someone's spine?"
someone's
And
spine.
they were just, yeah, he was just like, that's murder. And yeah, pretty illegal. And he's just like, hmm. He just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, just not, I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
he even had a moment of shock. You notice that, like when he
Yeah.
says no, that's murder, and he was shocked. Wait, that's murder? Like it was for a quick moment. He goes, huh?
Huh?
I'm like, dude,
That's
Drax, you really don't know.
oh my
Right. So I thought
gosh.
that was kind of funny. Just his response after it was explained it was murder. And it's like, yeah, that's really illegal.
mm.
And he's just like, oh, huh, okay. Like, he just kind of like, okay.
He's like, oh, all right. I'll sleep on that, is what he said.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
I found one joke that I could remember. It was when they broke out of the prison and everyone's like, "Where's Peter?" And everyone's debating whether or not to leave him behind. And he goes to get the Walkman from that dude that was tasing him when he got arrested and stole it.
Yep.
And he stole it back from him. And then Drax is like, he probably went back to get a very important weapon to help us in our escape. And then he finally shows what he
Oh
went back for
yeah,
was the Walkman.
imbecile.
He's like, imbecile. that
Yeah, that was funny.
was
That
funny. That
was
was
funny.
probably the funniest thing I could remember.
It's hard to really think of one because this movie has jokes, but it's like it doesn't.
Yeah.
They don't
It
really
doesn't
stick.
stick.
But the
Yeah.
one funny moment for me is when they are about to break out of prison, and Rocket goes, "Yeah, they his species do not. They take everything literal. They don't understand metaphors. It'll go right over his head." And he goes, "Nothing goes over my head. I'm too quick. I'll catch it." Like I
That's
till
good.
this day, it's the like I didn't laugh out loud watching it, but it's still such a genius, hilarious joke. It's so good. I feel like Dave Bautista really like made this character his own.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, all these characters are very different in the
They're very
comics.
serious. They're
Yeah,
very
they're all
serious in the comics.
serious. Yeah, if actually you guys, if you ever have a chance, watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes and watch Iron Man team up with them in Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon. They're
Mhm.
all different.
Yep.
Peter sounds different. Dra- uh, what's his face? Rocket has a British accent because in the comics he's actually a
He
British
does.
Oh
dude.
Yep.
wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they're all different.
Do you think it's a director's choice, or do you think the actors really made each character their own?
I think it's both. I think the director wanted
Mm.
to do different versions of the characters, and he gave the actors freedom to kind of experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because some of this seems ad lib.
Yeah.
Some of these, like the scene where Peter grabs the lizard and sings into it like a microphone, that was ad
Oh,
Hmm.
I can see
lib.
them
He
doing
ad
that.
libbed
Yeah.
that.
That's a
Yeah,
Chris Pratt move. Chris Pratt loves
yeah.
ad
Yeah.
libbing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Whenever I see him, it's just like I get remnants of him being like in Parks and Rec, and it's really
Yep.
yeah,
strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Because now he's
still like
not
it.
fat.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's
That is
awesome.
weird. That was weird. That scene when he was in prison. I'm like, dang, what'd you
Oh
do,
yeah.
man? I gotta
Yeah.
email you and get some secrets.
Right, yeah, no, he's totally fit now. But yeah, I
Hmm.
always get those like Parks and Rec vibes, but it works because it's supposed to be like a pretty like easygoing like comedic film.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, I think the fact that they did switch it and the characters aren't as serious, I think was a good call. And it works because it's like these are like this is a ragtag group. Like these guys shouldn't naturally be friends. They're just like these random people, thugs, like
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, they're
from
thugs.
nowhere. And
Yeah,
so them just kind of yeah. So it's a dynamic that strangely works.
Hmm.
yeah.
Mm.
But also nobodies because Iron Man
Yeah.
he's the CEO. Thor's a prince. Cap is an American
Hmm.
hero, and Hulk is one of the greatest scientific minds in the world. These guys
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
a bunch of
Nobody's
random
yeah.
criminals,
Right.
but we fell in love with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Criminals,
is
bounty
also
hunters, they're trying to just get some money real quick.
mm,
That's it.
this is
Yeah,
also a blend of all the classic movies we grew up watching.
yeah. I mean,
It's
Groot is
totally
Chewbacca.
Indiana Jones. Yeah, Groot's
Hmm.
Chewbacca. Groot's
Yeah,
Chewbacca. Rocket is Han Solo.
yeah.
Um, yeah, like this movie is Star Wars. This movie is Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
It's
maybe the
also like a slight bit
Goonies.
the Goonies. You said.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep, a little bit. Yep. Yeah, it's every one of those like childhood movies you grew up watching. Oh, you know what? Before we move on to our next segment, I did want to ask you guys about the soundtrack. What you guys thought about
Eh.
It
it?
was
Yeah.
cool. I
I
liked
mean,
it. I was
it's
bopping my
fair.
head.
Yeah, it's fair.
Hmm.
It's not extraordinary and theatric, but it's
Hmm.
cool because it I don't know. Yeah, I think I liked it because throughout the movie, you know, Peter's listening to like the old mixes that his mom kind of made and so in the like the tape. So it's just kind of like I guess in a sense, the whole movie you have Peter's headphones and you're just like listening to what he's
Hmm.
listening to. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, so it's not extraordinary, but I thought I it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a storytelling device.
Yeah.
Yeah. I um I remember when this movie was coming out and they released the mixtape um on Spotify and like as a promotional tool, which I thought was really cool. And so
Mhm.
I listened to it a ton, and that first song, not the first song, but it's a song that we get in the trailer, and then it's the song that Peter Quill gets beat up by, and it's Blue Suede,
Mhm.
"Hooked on a Feeling."
Yeah.
And that song, I grew up with that.
Mhm.
I remember that song when I was young, and my dad played it for me and my family. I think it was like every Wednesday or every Thursday. Um, we would have these like rotation of songs and records that my dad would play, and he would always play that song. And so when this movie came out and they played that song, and people were like, "Oh, that's a cool song. What is that?" And I'm like, "You rookies! Like, I've been on this. What are you talking about?" But it was just so it was cool. It was cool. That's like my it doesn't tug a heartstring,
Yeah.
kind of barely, but it
Hmm.
does. I have a connection to the movie in that way, um, where a lot of these songs I grew up listening to because my dad played them.
Wow, that's pretty cool because
See,
Yeah.
there you
Peter's mom
go.
played the songs.
Yep. I know, right? I'm Peter Quill.
You are Peter Quill? What? So what, does that make me
am.
Drax?
I am Queeter Pill.
Wow.
Peter, wow.
Yeah. Queeter Pill.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to
Wait.
talk about.
The
There
ending.
it is. No,
What
we
about
can't talk
that?
about that just yet.
Oh,
talk about
Why
but
that
it's
yet.
a dance to save the universe.
But we can't talk about that yet. There's a reason
All right.
for it.
All right.
There's a
Why?
reason for it.
Why?
Trust me, there's a reason.
Okay.
Because we're definitely going to
That's
talk about that.
All right.
So no one else can talk about it.
What?
I think that was his point.
That's my point. We're going to talk about it, just not before I talk about it. Because I have something to say in this next segment, which Rinaldi and I call a little R&R. A movie of epic proportions, risky and original, must end as strong as it started. We get the villain, Ronan, who demonstrates some power, but lacks being threatening. He's almost laughable at sometimes, and not to be taken seriously. And the audience is not the only one who sees that. A villain who will get duped by a few Michael Jackson kicks and hip thrusts is not one I am threatened by. His attempts of destroying Xander in seconds and being thwarted, his plans being thwarted by a bad moonwalk. Do you even want your plan to follow through? Do you want to see your plan take place? What are you doing? He asked Peter Quill as he tries to figure out what Peter Quill was doing, which became the most important thing in that moment, bigger than his mission. We have a villain problem. If I were him, I wouldn't care what Peter Quill is doing. I never understood that. That's my one problem with this movie, is that last scene, the dance-off. Didn't like it when I saw it in the theater. Didn't like it when I was in the theater. Didn't like it when I was on TV. And I don't like it now.
See, the focus of this movie is that Ronan is a traditionalist. He has a culture. He has beliefs. Are they communicated to the audience really well? No, of course not. We don't have any connection to this dude. But we know from the first scene when he puts on that robe, puts on that black dust that I guess you can get at the spa, according to Elise, that he has a passionate belief about the Kree way. And that motivates him to remake Xandar for the old Kree people that don't care about a peaceful world. They want Kree to dominate everything. And in a weird way, the Guardians were like that. They were only out for themselves. They were only out for what they knew to be true. They had to change in order to come together to save Xandar. And that's the power of that scene. Because after Peter Quill distracts Ronan, they destroy the orb, or the hammer that was containing the stone, and all five of them together grab the stone from Ronan and don't die because they hold hands. That is the core of this movie. It is not supposed to be taken seriously. It is not Captain America the Winter Soldier, a dark political tale that deals with real world issues that we deal with today. No, it's supposed to be a fun movie about a family coming together, even though they're from different places and have different beliefs and opinions. They are the anti-Ronin. A Ronin who is old-fashioned, tired, and bitter, going up against a family that is dynamic, diverse, and open-minded, like my man Groot, who died for this family. That is what Guardians is about. And that's why that scene is funny. I rest my case.
New case interested, bro. I just don't like that scene. I hate it. I really do. I think it's
It's
stupid.
the movie, though. That's the movie right
It's
there.
so
What do you think
cringy.
you're
It is
doing?
so cringy.
Yeah, you know.
But he is cringy. Thanos called him out. He said he was a boy. Boom, right there.
Yeah, he's a boy.
He's a
Yeah.
child.
I'm glad at least someone agrees with me. Okay, if Thanos watched that scene, he goes, "Why does that exist, man? I should come
It's
sooner."
not this. He was telling the truth. This guy gets distracted and emotional.
Oh man.
That's what happened. He got distracted. He got emotional because he wanted everyone to bow down before him. He was like, "All right, I have the staff. Y'all jokers got nothing. Ravagers, guys that have fins that can kill people in 5 seconds by whistling, could not stop me. It's over. Bow down, just
See,
like
no,
Loki.
see, you're
Bow
you're
down.
explaining more. You're
Bow
explaining
down.
more than the scene, bro. You're
Bow down
explaining
before
more.
me. I'm
No,
a
no, no. Look,
king.
I get. Okay,
He's
I get all
posturing.
that.
He's
Rinaldi, I
posturing.
get all that. Rinaldi, I get all that. I get all of that noise in the background and backstory and who he is and as a person. And I get all of that. That one scene. Forget all that for a second though, because that one
Okay.
scene, no matter how serious he is and how traditional he is and how silly Peter Quill is, it is still a stupid scene. I hate the scene.
How?
It's stupid.
He wanted people to bow
It's just stupid. It's just
and
stupid.
submit. I've seen people in a bunch of movies do that.
Here's how I feel about the scene. It's only just better than Spider-Man 3. That's how I feel about the scene.
Wait, you talking about the movie as a whole? That's a weird.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about like when Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire is dancing on the street.
Oh,
there's no logic behind that.
I'm saying that dance move, that dancing is just better.
But Ronan wanted
3.
people to kiss his feet and beg for mercy. That's who he is.
I'm not looking at all that though.
But that's what villains do. When villains have the button, right? And then I'm gonna blow all you people up.
Okay.
And you go for it. You're like, please don't do it, please. I'm sorry. Then they get satisfaction. They're like, okay, now I'm flexing on you. Now I'm feeling good now. I'm still gonna push the button.
Again, we're going back to the.
But that's what villains do. Name one villain.
I know what villains do. The villain is not what I'm talking about.
They gloat. They
what
brag.
Villains do and don't do is not what I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about that one scene where he's about to destroy Xandar.
Yeah.
And dancing is what threw him off. I thought that was stupid and it was cringy.
Well, what was everyone else in the scene doing? How about we focus on that?
What was everybody else? Well,
I saw children cowering in fear. I saw people freaking out. We don't see the other Guardians.
Let me ask you this question then. So let me ask you this question, Rinaldi. You're telling me that you're Peter Quill.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of all that rubble and all that stuff, okay? And he is about to destroy Xandar, and the first thing you do is start dancing.
Yeah, you're gonna die anyway.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Get out of here. No, you're not. That is a lie.
Yeah. How's that a lie?
That's the first thing you're doing is you're dancing.
If I'm desperate
that is not.
And I know I lost the game, yeah, I'm gonna do everything.
Bro, you're gonna think of 10.
And run around.
You're gonna think of 10 things. You're gonna think of 10 things to do before you even consider dancing.
But you say if I'm Peter Quill. Did you watch?
You are Peter Quill. I did watch the movie, but I'm saying put you Rinaldi, Rinaldi,
Rinaldi.
Yes,
yeah, I'm gonna throw a rock at his face.
You are not dancing.
Yeah, me Rinaldi would throw a rock at his face as a distraction. There were plenty of rocks in the area. I'd pick up.
I'm not okay. Let me make this clear.
Let me make this clear.
I'm not. Hold up, Rinaldi. Let me make this clear. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense for Peter Quill to do that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm not saying the scene doesn't make sense. I'm saying the scene is stupid.
How's the scene?
That's what I'm saying. It's a stupid scene. It's a dumb scene. It's a dumb scene.
It's a talking tree and a talking raccoon.
I know it's a movie about a talking tree.
So how's it make?
It's a stupid scene.
I don't get it, man. It's not like this happened in Captain America. Then you'd have a point. If Falcon would just start doing like Usher, like the Usher dance.
Yeah, that would throw me off too.
First of all, that would be racist. I'm just kidding.
What'd you say, Elise?
I said that's racist.
Okay, fine. That's a terrible example because that would
No,
actually be
it's
racist.
Yeah.
just joking. It's just
But
joking.
what if Falcon was just dancing? Eddie, I don't know. He's dancing.
I would be just as thrown off
Madonna.
even. I would be just as thrown off, or even more if Falcon started
It would be
dancing.
even more because that movie was serious. It was.
Yeah, it
real
would.
life,
I'm like, why is he dancing? But I'm saying that scene. I'm not saying it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for Peter Quill to do that. I'm saying it made sense. I'm not saying the scene itself was like wait, why is he dancing? It made total sense why he's dancing. I'm saying that I cringe watching that. That I don't like that scene.
That scene was hilarious, man.
No,
Tears
it is
coming out
not
my
funny.
eyes, man.
It is not funny.
Tears.
Even the second time or the third time watching it?
Yes.
He cried. He cried this week watching it.
Yeah, that scene was so funny. I mean, I still feel like the Walkman scene was funnier because it was more subtle and better timed. But
Maybe I'm just I don't
because
know.
that Walkman scene, I think was funnier. But that scene, it was. I think the thing about that scene, the Ronin scene, is it's just so unexpected. There's no way. Like if it was me, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I would have picked up a rock and threw it at his head, and maybe it would serve the same purpose.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe in your version of the movie, that's what happens, or maybe some other idea or plan takes place. But the only thing I could think of seconds away is I'm gonna be like my man Pedro Martinez. I'm gonna get
You
a
can start throwing
pitching
stuff.
stance, just throw something.
And the thing is too is like Peter Quill is a kid.
Yeah.
And so again, that's why it makes sense that he's going to do something like that. He's not thinking like totally.
I think also too the tone of the movie calls for that scene.
It does.
You're not going to get like a serious, like
I totally get
epic
that. Yep.
battle.
Totally.
But I
did
get it
not
from this
want-
perspective. I get it from this perspective. It is seconds away. It is kind of extra with it.
Yeah.
It's like that movie
again,
we've argued about. It's like you're doing it. You're putting salt in the wound. You're putting salt in Rob's wound.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 seconds.
Whenever we talk about Iron Man 3 and the viewers, the listeners are like, why are you so like gung ho about Iron Man 3? They're gonna look at me and go like, why do you hate that scene, Rob? That was a fun scene. I think my real problem with that scene, my honest real problem, it's not as much the dancing, because the dancing is like, dude, what are you doing? But my real problem is Ronin. Okay,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the movie, Ronin like takes his hammer and crushes a guy's head.
It took 10 minutes
a guy.
to do that. 10 minutes.
In the movie.
He was talking to the dude. He was having a conversation. He was like, "Yo, the old Cree ways are coming back, sucker."
Yeah.
He did a whole.
Yeah.
Like he did it without any dialogue.
Yeah.
If he did it with no dialogue, I'd get it, bro. He was
and then he's talking to Thanos, and then he argues with this other guy with the 3 fingers, and he does this thing with his hammer and turns the guy's head 180, kills a guy like brutally. So he doesn't care. So when this scene comes up, I'm like,
your first example is terrible. He did a whole ceremony. Went to the spa, put on a robe.
Oh, no, dude, no. What I'm saying is that this guy, like, look at what he cares about.
The Creed.
Look at what he values. Yeah, look at what he cares about, and look at how brutal he is. And so when he is seconds away from slamming that hammer onto the ground to destroy Xandar, and Peter Quill is doing something weird, why do you care? Why do you care? That's my thing. If you truly are an evil villain,
Thanos calling him a boy, and he got
Well, I think you know what I think it is,
and went home.
the only
man is a grown man getting upset about someone calling him a boy.
So the only reason why, and I'm not saying this was written in his character or anything like that, but the only reason why he would hold back is because he really does not want to destroy Xandar. That's the only reason why.
How's that true?
The only
it's true. If he really wanted, if it was okay, well, I can't go forward. I can only stick with this movie. If if he really, really, truly, 100% conviction built and everything wanted to destroy Xandar, some dancing and some movement by the body or with the body is not going to stop him. But it stops him seconds from committing to his conviction. And he's watching him for like a good 3 minutes.
Yeah, like I said, they rubbed salt in the wound because here's my version of the scene. Here's my version of the scene because this is the bet, and maybe you can do your version. So here's my version of the scene. Okay, so he has.
You're gonna laugh at my version. You're gonna laugh at my version, but go ahead.
He has the hammer, right?
Yeah.
And he's walking. First of all, in my scene, because it's actually consistent with the rest of the movie, he's walking around with this hammer. He's going up to a little girl's face like, "Oh, you scared? You scared? Well, that's what you get for killing my grandfather, my father, and da 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 in this war, whatever." He's gloating. He's going up to a woman pregnant. Bow before me, your new master. Oh, you can't because I'm gonna destroy you. He's doing that whole thing, just like he did in the beginning of the movie with the guy he was interrogating for like 10 minutes before he killed him, which is what actually happened, not your version where you fictionalized how he killed him in 3 seconds. That's not what happened, bro. He had a full conversation with that dude. And Thanos, he picked up.
I'm not even talking about he just like straight up killed a guy in 3 seconds with no problem. I know there was a reason. I know there's a whole back thing. I know he was like, I know it's a ceremony.
So my version,
he killed a guy in cold blood.
He's like a preacher. He's a preacher. He's going around.
Okay.
He's in a circle. Then this is what happens. Then in my scene, Peter isn't just dancing. He's like, boo, whatever, bro, whatever, man. And then he's dancing. And then Ronan smacks him in the face and says, how dare you disrespect me? And then Peter gets up and just keeps dancing. And then he punches him again. And he gets up and keeps dancing. And he's like, what do you think you're doing? And then he says it's a distraction. So it happens much faster. And Peter has bruises on his face to show that he was desperate, but in his way, within his character. Because if it was me, I would have threw a rock at him and then get punched in the face by him. But for him, it's like, okay, let me like yell at him, boo him, let me mock him, and it would connect back to when Thanos called him a boy, and it set him off. So my version, it would be consistent. There would be more logic. It would happen much faster because he'd only be dancing for like 15 seconds, not 3 minutes. It'd be 15 seconds, and then right after the dance, he'd smack Peter right at 500 feet across the field. But then it would be cool because Peter would get up again.
His character to do that.
Peter would get up again and just keep doing it, so the fans would be like, "Oh wow, this guy's like brave but stupid," which is who he is really. He went out to save Gamora, and Rocket said that was a bad idea, and he went out anyway to save her. So my version would fit with the movie better.
Yeah. I that scene early on when he kills the guy, he like crushes the guy's head in that ceremony. Here's to illustrate my issue with Ronan being distracted. You mean to tell me that if Peter Quill or anybody else in that room started dancing out of nowhere, that would distract him from his ceremony?
It depends.
No, I don't think so.
It depends. If you push his buttons with the right insults, because Ronan went from I'm gonna kill Thanos.
No, hold on.
I'm gonna kill Thanos. To I'm not gonna kill Thanos. Like
no. You're talking about insults. Hold up, Ronaldo. You're talking about insults. That's not what Peter Quill did. He just danced and it distracted him. Take that same dance, put it in the ceremony. Does that stop him? Does that interrupt him?
It might. It depends.
I don't think it will.
It depends. He's very petty.
It might. He might. Yeah, he is petty.
Very petty.
You got that.
Because think about this, right? Let's say you go in a mosque and you start dancing. Don't you think the imam's gonna feel disrespected? Because you're disrupting them. Like I don't know. Like I get what you're saying. It is silly. I get it. It's silly. I'm with you on that tip. It just I don't know.
Yeah.
This whole movie's silly. So to me, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I get it.
So here's you mentioned what you would change in the scene. Here's what I would change in the scene. I would actually change two things. As much as I hate that scene, I wouldn't change the scene.
Oh,
This is weird.
Wait,
I
what?
would not change the scene. I would not.
Yo! Okay.
I would not.
Let me hear you out, bro.
I would change it slightly. I would change it slightly.
Because I would actually
Because
change some things in it.
I just think it's stupid. Does it belong in the movie? Absolutely. I just think it's a stupid scene. It's not. It's only better than Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3, that dancing did not belong there.
It was like
There's
no
many things that
rush
didn't
in
belong
that.
there.
Oh,
Yeah, no. But
No.
this one, it works because it's that kind of movie. But what I would change in that scene is, in the scene that we get, right, in the movie, why am I blanking? Ronan, he's like seconds away from destroying Xandar.
yeah.
And right as he's about to slam the hammer down, that's when Peter Quill starts singing and dancing, right?
Yeah.
The one thing I would change is Ronan is not standing there. That's the one thing I would change.
Okay.
Same dancing, but Ronan's not standing. He, instead of him doing his whole dialogue and all that stuff, like, you people, blah, 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 whatever it is he said, like, screw that. Throw it out the window.
Oh, man.
We already had, we had this huge, the ship crashed onto Xandar. Okay. It's rubble. It's a mess. People are just waking up. And then off in the distance from inside the ship, we see the purple light. And they go, yo, how in the world is he still alive? So everybody's slowly getting up. The people of Xandar, they're holding their kids. They're like, yo, what in the world? What's going to kill this man? And he's slowly coming up. And Peter Quill's looking around. And, they kind of coordinate a plan somehow. I don't know, however they did it in this movie. And while he's walking up, that's when Peter Quill starts singing and dancing. That's when he starts doing that. And he keeps doing it as he's walking up. He doesn't give no dialogue. He doesn't give, what are you doing? Blah. Like, he doesn't do any of that. He walks up, and at some point, he does stop, and he goes, what are you doing? I'm about to destroy Xandar, these people, and you're doing something silly. What are you doing? I'm distracting you, silly. And then he shoots the cannon thing. You do some form of that. I think the stupid part about this is that he stops short from his conviction. I hate that when villains are half-hearted about what they're not believable anymore.
I mean, he lost believability for me when he literally was
I
going to kill
agree.
Thanos.
I agree.
Picked up his ball and ran home like he was. He did what my younger brother would do. He'd be like, "Yeah, Ronaldo, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?" And I'm like, "All right." I get up from my chair. He's like, I'm gonna go to my friend's house right now."
which is the second thing I will change about this movie. We get that he's all about old Kree traditions.
Yeah.
But we lose that. Yeah. But here's the thing: we lose that halfway through.
Yeah, we do.
The second he gets the Power Stone and he puts it on the hammer, he loses all that and he becomes a typical villain.
Yeah, he does.
I think if he is really trying to resurrect some like weird, like traditional, like basically make this guy a cult leader.
Yeah, they should have did that.
Make this guy a cult leader. You make him a cult leader. He leads his group. He's a fanatic. He's a zealot, and you commit to that. That way, throughout the movie, you're like, "Yo, this guy's wild." So even if he does some wild stuff, you at least believe him because he has no stability.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I agree with you on that too. That's a good idea. There should have been other Kree that like there could have been a scene where one Kree left the Empire and he's like maybe a teenager or a college age student. He's kind of unsure, and Ronan kind of talks to him and says like, "You can do this," and he kills like some random Xandarian, like the kid. And then you could use that to introduce the cult. Like, this is a cult. Like, he took this kid and kind of brainwashed him to believing in this stuff. And maybe you have a scene later in the movie where he just attacks one of the. Maybe he tries to attack Yondu even though he has the fin. And then that way you see, whoa, like these people are like wilding out because they're just suicidal. They're suicidal. Like, they're just rushing.
Or
like
instead
Yondu and all these people.
instead of like Because you know how in the beginning of the movie he's doing the ceremony. Instead of him doing the ceremony, you have one of his disciples do the ceremony, and yet he falls short. He almost does not kill the guy. And then the camera pans to him, and he goes like worthless or something like that, or imbecile, or whatever, something evil to that degree. And then he takes the hammer and does it himself.
Yeah, actually, that's a way better idea. Yeah.
You create more of a monster out of this guy just by changing a few things, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want better villains in these movies.
Yeah. What do you ladies think about our ideas?
Well, I mean, I think the plot you guys combined and figured out was really cool. Like, just really making use of the whole idea of like, oh, I'm a quote unquote zealot. Like that was good, but I think going back to like the nature of the movie and the fact that they were just trying to make it comedic, I think I would settle for Rinaldi's idea of just kind of like just kind of making it be like, oh, he's dancing and he's distracting him, but like Ronan's not just sitting around like just watching him like, what are you doing? He's like, you know what, yo, what are you doing? You're pissing me off. Bam. And like, Quill gets up again, tries to do it, and like, Quill gets some hits and from it before they like shoot him and we'll shoot the hammer and take the power stone out. Yeah, so I think that piece fits with how they were trying to make it like really fun and just like very simple, but you put a little bit more realism into it at the same time. But
because having a whole conversation was not a good idea. I agree with that.
They really did.
Because they had a full-on conversation.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Well, the thing is that I think, because the thing is that, I understand that scene is weird, but I think I let it pass too, just because, I don't know, I guess it's because these people aren't humans, right? So things are just foreign to them. So when they see stuff like that sort of dancing, like everyone's just kind of like, what the heck is that? So it was kind of, even though it's not super realistic, it was kind of funny because you could see genuine like confusion and concern on Ronan's face, and that killed me. He was like really like, what are you doing? Like he was like, whoa, like he was getting shocked by it. So I think his face, it made me laugh. But you guys are right.
Yeah, it was funny.
Kevin Bacon saved the world.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah. But they should have sped it up because, like I was saying, like just have them do it for 15 seconds. That's all we. 15 seconds.
Yeah,
and then whack to the face.
Yeah, but if I were Ronan, I think I probably would have blasted him with a Power Stone or something, because it's like, even if you don't know what he's doing by dancing, it's like this common thing that we see in shows or whatever, where you wait for the enemy to like transform or do whatever. So even if he didn't know what it was, like, oh my gosh, is this dance gonna summon something? Like, you stop it. Like, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter if what you think is going to happen, if nothing's going to happen, or if this dance is a ritual. You just have to stop him. Don't wait for him to transform. Don't wait for, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we always see that in like old school cartoons. It's like, wow, you really just waited for like the Power Rangers to get their suits on.
That's literally what we just saw.
Yeah,
right. Or like, or you waited for Sailor Moon to do her thing, and plus only her, but her friends, all 5 of them. You waited for them all to dress up. Come on now.
Wait, so it's like, you said 2-minute transformation?
Huh?
That's a 2-minute transformation, right?
I think if they do, well, I may have been exaggerating a bit, but maybe that could be legit. I think altogether the girls transforming maybe 2 minutes, but I think long versions of it do kind of like.
At least you have a point.
It takes a whole 5 minutes for the Power Rangers to like put together their Zord, their Megazord. It takes a whole 5 minutes.
Yeah. So bang bang.
So
and
like
the villain is already big and like he can knock down buildings, but he's just like, oh, they're doing a thing. Let me wait for them.
Right. So I think the villains just need to stop trying to observe things and be okay with not knowing what it is, but just slap somebody real quick because
But
you
it's
know.
like drumline though, right? Like, okay, we do our drum routine, and then you guys do your drum routine, and then we do it. Oh, it's a tie, so we gotta do the tiebreaker.
That sounds like a turn-based RPG. It can't work like that in real life. As
Or
much as I love
it's like you got served.
like we can't do that. Can't do that in
Stomp the
movie.
yard.
Dang.
Yeah.
Like what he needs to Ronan should have stomped Peter's face. Like,
Yeah.
we'll wait for him to do
Yeah.
oh
I
man.
still like the smacking idea because I think to him in my version it's
Yeah.
he doesn't take it serious. He wants to mock Peter because he doesn't know what he's doing, but he knows it's out of desperation.
Mm.
It's
Right.
not like when Coulson showed up with the gun in Avengers. It's not like that at all. It's like, no, you're just wasting my time, so I'm just gonna play with my food like any cat would.
Yeah. But yeah. But I let it slide. But yeah, you guys are right.
If I was Ronan, I'm with Elise. I would have just blasted him with the stone.
Right. I've been like, what are you
Bang
doing?
bang.
You got all that power in your hand, and you're just like, you're gonna let him dance for 3 minutes, just because you're curious. Like, this dance is not gonna exist if you just destroyed Zimmer.
Maybe he got prideful. You know, maybe he was
I want to know all the knowledge. What is this sorcery he's about to do?
right, or like he's I'm about to end everybody anyway. All right, I guess I'm gonna smash him anyway. They're gonna do so. I don't know.
I think I really feel like he got mad because Peter wasn't afraid or scared like all the other Zendarians. At least that's what they were trying to show. They failed, but I don't know, they tried. Because all them other Zendarians were terrified of him.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other thing you guys want to mention or talk about, but this part of the podcast we normally have a question from Rinaldi. It always incites some thoughtful responses, but we're gonna do something a little bit different. The girls had an adventure trying to find reviews, and we decided, you know what? Let's read some more reviews on this movie. Fergie, what you got?
All right. I will just say for the record, this movie, I don't know. I'm not underwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed by it. I'm just whelmed by it. That's why I didn't have much to say.
Young
But
Justice reference.
I love, yeah. I feel like these reviews were so funny because it sounded like people actually either really, really loved it, or they just didn't know what this movie was about. And so the first review I have is from, oh wow, I can't read this name. Anne Buhav Gutta. Email us if that's not how you pronounce your name, but this person said, when I saw the trailer, I thought it would be pretty lame, but the movie completely blew my mind. Chris Pratt single-handedly made the movie amazing. It's crazy funny. The character of Peter Quill is kind of like a PG-13 version of Deadpool. The characters of Peter, Quill, and Rocket were enough to make me love the movie.
Huh?
What? When was this review posted?
9 months ago.
9 months ago.
9 months
what?
ago.
Why is he just now, bro? Catch up. You just now seen this movie, dude?
Wow,
dude.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Must have been a Marvel hater, and
It
then
could
he's
have
just
been.
like,
It could have been a kid.
It must have been.
It could have been a kid, some 15-year-old kid that couldn't watch it.
Well,
when
that's
it came
gonna
out.
be my comment. Is like, how old is this guy?
Yeah.
Well, there's a little tiny avatar picture. It looks like he has a beard going, so I don't know.
I think he was sheltered. I think they
sheltered. Or a DC fan that got converted to Marvel or something.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know. 9 months that's crazy.
9 months ago.
All right. The other review I found was by Eric Perry. He said, actually, I already read that. Never mind. So the other review I found was by Jonas Phillips. He wrote this a month ago. And he said, Vin Diesel was in it, so it was automatically the best movie in history, along with all the other movies.
Yo, have you ever? So, if you ever wondered, like, are there like hardcore Vin Diesel fans? You know what I mean? It's like what's name an artist or a band that you're like, why would anybody want to go to like, okay, for me,
Meghan Trainor.
Dave Matthews, or like, what was that?
Meghan Trainor and Nickelback.
Nickelback. Yep.
Yes.
You know what's funny? I don't understand it. Maybe I'm like out of the loop or I'm out of touch or something. But like, I don't get, well, like, yo, like, Meek Mill is in town. Let me go see Meek Mill. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
you know?
I put Meek Mill on that
to
list.
To go to a concert.
What you got against me?
He had a couple nice.
That's my thing. I got nothing against him. He's a good rapper. He got
a couple solid mixtapes.
But like
yeah, Meek Mill. You're dishing out money for Meek.
Yeah, like front row seats.
As opposed to
$500.
That's money you could spend on Drake.
Yeah,
I will see Drake live. I will see Lil Wayne live. I will see Childish Gambino live. Like, I will see Kendrick Lamar live. Like, these are artists.
They're like,
I don't know a single like rap lyric from him.
Dang.
Quick, your favorite Meek lyric.
Do better, Meek. Dang.
Like, and that's my thing with Vin Diesel. Like, if you want to know if there are hardcore Vin Diesel fans, you have one.
Yeah.
Like, Vin Diesel's in it. So it's hands down the best movie ever. Let's skip Chris Pratt.
And I'm like,
right.
Let's skip who
but
else?
Vin Diesel isn't in the movie.
Zoe Saldana.
He is in the movie though.
Wait, who? Oh, he's Groot. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. He's Groot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Literally.
He just says,
I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I really want to see Groot again.
He literally just says the same thing until the end when he says,
I wonder what's going to happen in part 2 with Groot. I hope he learns 3 more words.
Whoa.
Maybe that's what that guy's favorite part was, is we are Groot.
I don't get that. I'm sorry.
He cried probably during that part. He was crying. He's like, we are Groot. Yeah, we are.
Yo, I
that
shed a tear the first time I watched that too.
I had a thug tear. On We Are Groot.
But I'm not watching.
No, it's a solid scene.
But still, golly, best in the movie?
I didn't think to myself, oh wow, like Vin Diesel is this tree man. I gotta go see it. Like, I didn't like what? I didn't do that. That's really
Vin Diesel's in it and he plays a tree. Oh man, guys, you gotta go see this Vin Diesel movie. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh man.
I think that's pretty. He has nothing but skill. He pulled off that tree look pretty well. Pretty well. So the next review I have is from Vincent Finn. He says, this film was awesome. Only 7% of it was bad.
So you gave it a
specific.
My man counted. I want to know what the 7% was. What if the 7% was the dance, bro?
The dance at the Save the Universe.
What if the 7%? Because that literally was 7%. Not even 7% of the movie. That was 7% of the movie.
How long was that scene? 6 minutes? The movie's an hour and.
It definitely wasn't. No, that's definitely not 7 minutes or 7%. Sorry.
Wait.
But
let me
it was only 7% bad. Like what?
That seems like probably less than 5% of the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely less than 5%.
Yeah.
So maybe there was some other scene. It was probably that scene and another scene.
So wait, time out. What, Elise? What did you say? I didn't catch that.
I'm wondering how he decided the exact number, because like I know that we have our group, right? We do
7's very specific.
Yeah, or like even with some of the reviews we read, it might say 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, something. I'm just like 93%, like
7% out of 100.
What algorithm did you use
to out of 100?
Right.
This movie was 93% good.
Yeah. So
yeah, why don't you just say it like that?
Weird.
I found that interesting.
This movie was 93% good, 7% bad. You know what would be the only thing more weird than that review? And I hate to trash the person who wrote this, but I'm going to do it. I'm
finish it.
So the only thing weirder, I mean, why don't you just like go full blown, like narrow down the percentage? This movie was 93% good, 2% okay, another 2% could have been better, and 1% really bad.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you break it down and then the other 2%, I don't know, you give it away to that dancing. I don't know.
Maybe he was
like,
trying to tease us. He promised specific percentage breakdowns, but then thought better of it and then hit
No,
close.
I think this person like liked it so much that this reviewer wanted to express it in a way that will communicate how much he liked the movie.
I see.
And in doing so, he said 7%.
7%.
7% somehow came out. I don't know. He didn't talk about a plot. He didn't talk about a character or anything. He just said 7% was bad.
Yep.
I'm actually very curious at 7% now.
Right in. Vincent.
Yo, Vincent, we need answers.
If you listen to this podcast,
If you listen to this
explain
podcast,
yourself.
bro, we need answers, man.
What was the one you found with the Hindu something? You found something like prior.
You did. You found something.
That was kind of.
I wish I screenshotted it.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Oh,
have
that
it.
was that was good.
That was hilarious.
crazy weird.
That was really weird.
It's so
Didn't even explain it.
Yeah, I have a few more.
If you just walk in a room, like tell a bad joke and walk out, that's what that review was. You walk in a room and it's like, huh, this door's on backwards. And you walk out. And it's like, wait, huh?
So this other person, these names, man. Arikano McDonald Isla said, lots of adult talk, bad language, and nasty stuff. Don't mean to be picky. Grout is cute.
Grout?
Wait, how do they spell it?
Grout, specifically?
Grout.
My man, Grout. He got that Grout.
Did you watch
got that Grout?
I feel like that's a bot that wrote that review.
Totally Grout. How does a bot get it wrong though?
I don't know.
It's a bot that ain't
It is
no
much
sleep.
easier to spell Groot than Grout.
Maybe a bot from a different language?
Yeah.
Speech to text went wrong.
That's funny. We're literally, those of you listening, you have been blessed to hear the review of a bot.
Bot reviews.
Grout was cute.
Grout.
On my face.
What if all these reviews are bots and we're just trashing bots right now?
Hey, it's better than trashing people.
We're not going to get any sponsorship.
Did DC do that on purpose?
Right.
DC bot?
Yo, let me find. And DC misspelled. DC commented, Grout was cute. Yo, Vin Diesel got that Grout. Yo, Grout sound like a disease. It sound like a bad patch on someone's back that needs to be removed.
Did you just add
It
R?
sounds bad.
Have you never had
Gout.
Grout though?
It's
Gout.
gout.
No,
Why
that's
would
gout.
gout be cute? Ugh, gout is nasty. You gotta get that check.
Grout was cute. I am Grout.
No one knows the difference between gout and grout and Groot.
Apparently
It's
not.
amazing what one letter does.
Right.
Yeah.
Changes everything.
All right. A year ago, our boy Sanyong Shakula says, I love this movie because of everyone. ... And my fave is Rabbit.
What?
Rabbit? What?
Rabbit.
That's a raccoon.
Yo,
What
are you serious?
doing?
He did not watch this movie. He does not like being called a rabbit.
Yep.
He did not watch this
Is
movie.
he trolling
What?
Rocket? I think he's trolling Rocket.
I think he
My
is.
favorite is
We can only
Rabbit.
hope.
I think he's trolling him because he likes to mess with him.
Yeah, no, I think he watched Infinity War and came back to this one and thought thought to make a
It's
joke.
like, oh man, these characters, I gotta go back and watch their movie. Oh, I
Yeah.
like the rabbit.
He doesn't even look like a
No,
rabbit
he
though.
does
That's
not. He does not. Nowhere near it.
Yeah, we can't. We gotta save that energy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know why. Yeah, I know why they would,
But still.
would do that. But still, like even then, still doesn't look like a rabbit.
And then the last review I have is by Jacob Newberry. He wrote this a year ago, and he says, it is better than Home Alone 2.
That is
Are you
so-
serious? That's it?
That's it.
What?
Yeah, I agree
That's
with him.
review.
Yo,
I
these
agree with
random
him, but it
reviews,
is
man.
random.
What?
It is
It
random.
is better than Home Alone 2. I can think of a lot of movies better than Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Wait, time out. It's not better than Home Alone 1? Like what? What happened to Home
I like
Alone
Home
1?
Alone 1. I like Home Alone.
It's
What
a
I'm saying,
classic.
like, what happened to Home Alone 1?
But the thing is,
I
It's better than the second
I
one.
feel like
the
it's
comparison
tied
is
Okay.
tied with
not.
this movie. I give both movies a B.
I'm just shocked at the comparison. Like that's the most random movie to pull out of nowhere and compare
This
it.
man must have watched Home Alone 2. I feel like this man watched Home Alone 2 and was like, man, I wasted my time. I wish I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why not? He might have watched both movies during Christmas time and then wanted to write a review dissing Home Alone 2.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
when was the review?
It just says a year ago.
Oh wow. That doesn't
So
help.
that's vague. We don't know. It could be.
maybe he was trying to watch something with his kids, and he felt like I don't
Right.
know.
It's
We out
better
here
than
trying to
Home
make
Alone
excuses
2.
for this man. I don't even understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, all right. Let this be a lesson to us. If we're writing reviews, like explain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Please.
Jacob, explain yourself.
Explain
Man,
yourself.
Please.
Like it's
Y'all
better than Home Alone 2.
jokers are not
How
explaining.
does Home Alone
I
2?
spent 2 hours explaining Iron Man 3. Y'all jokers are just putting one line. Like, get out of my face. I'm a soldier out here. I was taking bullets, but I was explaining
Oh
myself.
man, this movie's better than the dinner I had last night. Like what? Like,
Yeah,
What'd you
y'all
want for
jokers need
dinner?
to step up.
well, that was fun. I'm glad we heard some of those weird reviews. That was weird. We should do that more often if we have
Yeah.
more weird reviews. Honestly, we only did that segment because the girls had a hard time finding a thorough review, anything worth reading.
Yeah.
So yeah, those of us who are reviewing stuff, explain yourself. Spend some time. If you decided to spend some time writing a review, then you have the time to explain it on the platform you're writing it on. So I don't know. That's just my take. But I think while we have all those reviews and we talked about all the things that we liked and didn't like about this movie, now we get to the part where we rank all of the Marvel movies we watched thus far and where does this fall for each of
My
us.
favorite part.
Yeah, so ranking. We're gonna rank it. Where does it fall with all the movies that we've watched so far? So yeah, I don't know who wants to start, but
Get me out the way. I'm gonna get myself out the way here
yeah,
real quick.
we're gonna trash you every time Iron Man 3 sits where it sits, bro.
Alright,
We're gonna
so
trash you. I'm still wondering what's gonna move this. Okay, all right, go ahead.
I get no. You know what? This is the one thing I agree upon. Well, actually, the one thing we agreed upon, at least me and the girls, was the villain situation, how to fix it. So
Where am I?
you didn't agree with the way I wanted to fix the villain. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And then
I like the way you wanted to fix it.
oh, okay, cool. Actually, so all
was a
three
great
of you,
idea.
all three of you, okay. We vibed on that level. All three of us. And then number two,
I am not separated.
and then number two, real
I
quick.
am not exiled.
Number two, real quick. I do appreciate the genuine curiosity of what will drop this movie, because that I feel like our listeners are curious too.
Oh boy!
Because some of our listeners
Yeah.
were not happy with this movie, so they're genuinely curious.
Yeah.
So I guess I can serve in that way with this segment.
Okay.
What will drop Iron Man 2? Well, not this movie. Anyway, so number one,
What would drop Iron Man 3 mean?
Cap 2. Number 2, Avengers. Number 3, Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Number 4, Iron Man 1. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Number 5.
Number 6, Cap 1. 7 is Thor 1. 8 is Hulk. 9 is Iron Man 2. And way at the bottom is Thor the Dark World.
Wow. Wow. I'll go next. I wrote down mine. Number 1, Captain America, Winter Soldier. That was fantastic. 2, Avengers. 3, the first Iron Man. 4, Thor, the first one. 5, Iron Man 2. And 6, I put Guardians. I feel like Guardians is the start of like the decline of all the movies. Then I have Thor 2 at number 7, Hulk at number 8, Captain America, the first one, at 9, and 10, the most unwatchable movie there is,
Trevor.
unwatchable.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, so number one, Winter Soldier. We know what time it is. Number
Mhm.
two is Avengers. Three, Iron Man 1. Four, Thor. And five, I was going back and forth with this, but I'm going to put it before Iron Man 2 and say Guardians of the Galaxy is now five. Iron Man 2
Mm.
is six now. Captain America, seven. Iron Man 3, eight. Thor 2 is at nine. And 10 is Incredible Hulk. That will stay there for a bit.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I was gonna say that for a little bit.
solid.
I'm happy Iron Man 2 is dropping.
You happy
Hmm.
Iron Man 2 is dropping?
Yeah,
Well,
very happy
bro,
about
listen, no one cares about where Iron Man 2 is going. We all know what movie we're
I
watching.
don't care what everyone thinks. I care about what I think.
Yeah, okay,
I love it.
That was a
we are
commercial
all
for the
curious.
Avengers. That was a commercial. That wasn't a movie. That was a commercial for Avengers. Anyway.
I agree with you. Okay, so number one, Captain America, Winter Soldier, at least knows what time it is. Avengers is number two. Number three, Iron Man 1. Number four, Thor. Number five, Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy falls at number five. Number six, Captain America, the first Avenger. Number seven, Iron Man 2. Number eight, The Incredible Hulk. Number nine, Thor, The Dark World. And number 10, where this movie belongs forever and ever and ever
Yo.
until a worse movie comes out.
Okay,
Iron Man
there's
3.
still a chance it can bump up a little.
Until it comes out, I said. Right now, there's no movie that is.
Okay, no, fair enough.
I don't think
Respectable.
there is. There might be. Who do you think, those of us who are listening, what movie is worse than Iron Man 3? Tell us, what movie's worse than Iron Man 3?
Wow.
Yeah, throw it up in the comments section. I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious.
Tell us. Email us, tell us. Yeah, what would you say is worse than Iron Man 3? We're curious.
I think we also have to pit Hulk and Iron Man 3 face to face because I feel like they're both neck
You know
and neck.
what?
I wonder
That
if
is very true.
Golly.
We should do a specific episode on that alone.
But we're a little premature. We're still halfway through this universe.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't worry. We're gonna get there.
Because Hulk is
Alright.
still number 10 for me. It's still at the bottom of my.
yeah,
Because
it's
Hulk
consistent.
moved up for me.
Yeah,
It's-
Hulk moved up
it's
for me
8.
too.
Yeah.
Hulk, it's Hulk. My bottom
Same.
three is Hulk, Thor: The Dark World, and Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bottom three is the same as Rob. Just switch out Iron Man 3 with Iron Man 2. It's the same
Yeah.
bottom three.
Or do what you're supposed to do: switch out Iron Man 2 for Iron Man 3.
Do what's.
I'm the only one with Captain America as my bottom three.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
deep. I don't think I agree with that.
I don't
I
either.
know.
but-
She really does not like that movie. She really does not. Like it.
yeah.
I'd pick it up
And I
again.
get it.
But Winter Soldier is my number one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
No, I
it's just-
get Fergie's situation with Cap one.
Mhm.
I disagree with her, but I had no issue with her feeling that it's a bottom
Yeah.
tier movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We spent some time talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy. This was a fun time, just talking about the different characters, the plot, what we thought was great, what we didn't like. Thank you guys for tuning in. Next time we get together on the next episode, what are we going to review? What's the next movie?
It is Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yes,
Right?
it is. That's going to be a very interesting one. And so
I'm
get your popcorn, take some time, watch the movie with us. Next time we get together, and we will review Avengers: Age of Ultron. Thank you for tuning in. Catch you guys later.